The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. It's 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us, drinking another cup of coffee on this Thursday. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher.
And we begin this morning in East Bakersfield. And a neighborhood was shut down overnight. Officers surrounded the area during a reported shooting and standoff. This is video of officers surrounding a home on South Haley Street just before 8:30 last night. Police reportedly responded to a shooting on that block. It is unknown if anyone was actually shot. There are unconfirmed reports that the suspects went into the home, where officers repeatedly called for them to come out. We are still waiting to hear from officers on what exactly happened.
Oh, he got tased.
This is the end of another standoff that happened in Southwest Bakersfield. Police had to use a stun gun on a man after he came out of a home on Willow Tree Drive holding a knife. Officers say the man led them on a pursuit before barricading himself inside that home. He was later seen walking after being placed under arrest. Police identify the man as 34-year-old Damian Vandenberg, and they say he was wanted for stalking and a court order violation.
In your 17 Core Watch, a man who was convicted in the rape of a 13-year-old girl in Delano will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Rodrigo Munoz Perez was charged after DNA evidence linked him to the 2014 assault. He was arrested last year in Contra Costa County in a separate rape case, and his DNA was uploaded to a national database, leading to the positive hit in the Delano case. Perez was sentenced to 113 years to life in prison for 14 felonies, among them kidnapping to commit rape and assault.
Making news around the state, a bill aiming to put California high schools on equal footing in championship football games is awaiting the governor's signature. Authored by Bakersfield State Senator Melissa Hurtado, SB 486 would mandate that all high school football state championship games be played at neutral sites. The bill comes months after Shafter High lost a championship game on a wet, muddy field last season at Orland High School in Northern California. Shafter's head football coach was furious following the game and went on a tirade against the CIF about the horrific playing conditions.
College students and their parents will soon have to fork over more money to pay for school. The California State University system voted in favor of a tuition hike yesterday. Zara Barker breaks down the numbers.
College at Cal State schools is now getting more expensive. The Board of Trustees voted Wednesday to increase student tuition 6% each year for the next 5 years.
Tuition has gone up much faster than wages over the last 20-30 years.
By the 2028 school year, Cal State students will now pay about $7,600 a year in tuition. That's up nearly $2,000 from this year.
Even though the Cal State schools are cheaper than other state schools, they're not the bargain they used to be.
Economic professor Joe Silverman says he doesn't think this hike will stop students from going to college, but he says it may make students reconsider certain careers.
Is it worth getting certain types of degrees if you have to pay back a lot of money in student loans and you're not going to make that up by increased earnings?
This hike comes amid a $1.5 billion funding gap, which some trustees says have put them in a difficult situation.
You know, it's been said that the CSU is a dream engine, and this is kind of a nightmare scenario, right, when it comes to having to raise tuition.
We talked with students at Cal State San Marcos Wednesday. Some hadn't heard about the tuition increase, while others say they were hoping it wouldn't pass, and now say this makes a big financial strain for some students.
The reason why some people may choose to go to a Cal State is because of the pricing compared to a UC. So the education is still comparable to a UC, but at a more affordable price. Not everyone can afford a UC. So now it's kind of counterintuitive to now where people can't really afford a Cal State. That just doesn't make any sense.
That was Zara Barker reporting.
News around the nation, a judge has ruled against President Biden's DACA regulation for Dreamer immigrants. Yesterday, a Texas judge declared the federal policy unlawful after the Biden administration moved last year to finalize a rule to codify DACA into federal regulations. A group of Republican-led states challenged the effort. They asked the Texas judge to shut down the program in its entirety over 2 years. After yesterday's ruling, though, the judge fell short of terminating the program, maintaining the status quo for current DACA recipients.
The biggest names in tech met at Capitol Hill to speak with senators about artificial intelligence. Elon Musk, Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg were among those attending the inaugural AI Forum yesterday. Following the first portion of the meeting, many lawmakers and tech leaders appeared to be optimistic about the discussion, saying the consensus is that some form of government AI regulation is needed.
I think the consequences of AI going wrong are severe. So we have to be proactive rather than reactive.
Yesterday's meeting kicked off a series of brainstorming sessions set to run through the fall about how lawmakers can regulate the fast-moving technology. We have a news update on that two-alarm fire that broke out during our newscast yesterday morning. We are now learning 2 people were rescued by Bakersfield firefighters. It happened around 5 a.m. near the Kern County Fairgrounds. Firefighters say when they arrived to the home, it was fully engulfed, and crews worked to quickly get 2 people out. No one was hurt. The cause is still under investigation.
Well, it's all part of a 5-year improvement plan for the Bakersfield Police Department. Last night, leaders from the newly formed Bakersfield Community Policing Project held a listening session. The organization was created following a years-long investigation by the DOJ. The investigation claims BPD officers have a problematic history, including several cases of unreasonable use of force. Last night's meeting was held at the Emmanuel Lutheran Church. Anyone who has ever interacted with BPD was invited to attend.
In the last year and a half, we've been working on key policies around use of force. We are moving into policies on bias and search and seizure, those issues that really affect people on a day-to-day basis as they interact with police.
Organizers say any topics or grievances talked about will be brought to the attention of the Bakersfield Police Department during its monthly meeting with the Policing Project.
In court, a surprise development in the highly anticipated sentencing hearing for Trezell and Jacqueline West. They are the adoptive parents of Orrin and Orson, who disappeared 3 years ago. The defense has now asked the court postpone sentencing for the couple and that the judge honored that request. 17's Michaela Armstrong has reaction from the boys' biological family.
They sit up in here and act like they just the parent of the year? No, they murderers. They murderers, they animals. Trezell and Jacqueline, y'all animals, okay? Tell us what the babies are, no deal, nothing.
Emotions ran high after it was decided in court Wednesday that sentencing for Trezell and Jacqueline West would be postponed to September 28th for defense attorneys to provide more information to the court. In May, a jury reached verdicts on 5 of 7 charges after a weeks-long trial. The couple were accused of murdering their 2 adopted sons, Orrin and Orson West, who went missing in 2020. Jurors found the couple guilty of murder for the death of 4-year-old Orrin and child cruelty for 3-year-old Orson's death. Now they face life terms in prison. The boys' bodies have not been found. That is why the news of the delay in sentencing the couple drew an immediate reaction from many.
We have to relive this every time we come to this courtroom. Every time. This is a reliving. You know, the mom, the dads. This is hurtful stuff, and people need to take, if it was your children, including a judge, including whoever is behind whatever, they need to realize this could be your kids, and you will feel the same way that we feel.
Family and friends of the boys' biological parents fear it could be postponed again and feel they must continue to make their presence felt to ensure that does not happen.
Oh, we don't sleep without thinking about it. We're waiting for justice. We're not leaving. We're going to be here every day. Every time they have court, we're here. No matter we got to take off, no matter what, we are here. That's applying pressure. Our presence is applying pressure, period.
Michaela Armstrong, 17 News.
Making news around the state this morning. In Sacramento, a major update on Bakersfield Senator Shannon Grove's child sex trafficking bill. Late yesterday, the state Senate unanimously passed the legislation, officially sending it to Governor Gavin Newsom.
Congratulations, Senator Grove, for getting your legislation to the governor's desk.
Senator Grove smiling after the Senate voted 39-0 to pass her bill. SB 14 seeks to classify human trafficking of anyone under the age of 18 as a serious felony in the state of California, and it would categorize it under the state's 3 strikes law for reoffenders. That could lead to increased jail time for convicted traffickers.
If signed by the governor, this bill will help protect children. And everyday Californians, whether you're Democrat, Republican, or Independent, believe that the people who sell children for sex should be in prison for a longer period of time.
As a longtime victims advocate, I just want to stress how important it is that we send a message that selling children for sex is not acceptable in the state of California.
SB 14 passed after an amendment was added to address concerns that victims who may have been forced to cooperate with their traffickers could also end up prosecuted under this law. Governor Gavin Newsom expressed support for the bill earlier this summer after Democrats on the Public Safety Committee blocked it, only to bring it back to life amid intense backlash. Newsom has until October 14th to sign it.
California Governor Gavin Newsom is accusing House Speaker and Bakersfield Congressman Kevin McCarthy of not having his priorities straight. This all happening during Politico's Golden State of California event. It is the latest in a familiar back and forth between the House Speaker and the governor in their not-so-friendly relationship. Newsom's critiques focused on Bakersfield's high crime, high uninsured rate, and high child poverty rate. When asked whether he believed the speaker himself once in an impeachment of President Biden, Newsom began with his answer with, quote, "My Kevin," drawing laughter from the crowd. My Kevin is a nickname for the speaker, coined by former President Donald Trump. Newsom stated McCarthy should be focusing on his district rather than an impeachment inquiry.
My Kevin will do what he needs to do or is told to do. The murder capital of California is Kevin McCarthy's district. It's the murder capital of California consistently, year in, year out. I just think that's interesting. 2.5 times the murder rate of Nancy Pelosi's San Francisco. You would think Kevin McCarthy would be focused on those issues as a guy who cares deeply about life, that he would care to address those issues.
The California governor also called out the speaker for how he launched the impeachment inquiry without a formal House floor vote. That is something the speaker just days ago said he would not do.
It was just 11 days ago where he said, absolutely, this needs to go to a floor vote. I mean, give me a break. This is student government.
The Speaker's office commented on Newsom's statements yesterday, saying under Newsom's leadership, Californians have experienced an increase in violent crime, thefts, and homelessness, adding, quote, "It's time he takes responsibility."
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.